was all a lie. There's nothing wrong with you.
Nice of you to say, but you of all people should know there's plenty wrong with me.
I've reviewed 1, 2, 3 versions of the Joker and given each one a score 1 out of 10. But how good of a villain is the version of the clown seen in the critically acclaimed Arkham games? Today, on the 200th episode of Villain Review, I will be looking at the character to find out.
It's a tradition in my house to open one present each on Christmas Eve. How about this one?
The origins of the Joker are very mysterious. Most versions we get next to nothing about the character, but one thing that makes this version different is we actually get some insight. Although, you guessed it, it's not really the full picture. Before you type in the comments that all of this is just theory, I'm gonna disagree to an extent and say because of the consistency in certain aspects of his story, we can assume at least a little bit of it to be true. We get the classic Joker origin, right? He's a stand-up comic, although he's not very good, he has a wife and a child, but gets wrapped up in some crime and ends up getting thrown into a vat of acid, turning his skin white, hair green, and comes to accept that life is nothing but a joke. The idea of one bad day changing everything. You're saying delusion. J Films, listen here, buddy. Joker's just messing around, man. That stuff ain't true, you idiot. Oh yeah? Well, you're right, first of all, but plot twist. When I said we get some insight into the character, that's not what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, bet you didn't see that coming. The mystery of the Joker is a staple of the character, and it's what makes him scary. The fact we don't know where he came from, who he is, and yada yada yada, all that stuff. But little Nino, we do get a taste of what drives him, what his actual motive is. And it's funny because we don't actually get it until pretty much the final scene in this franchise. But I'm of course talking about the ending of Arkham Knight. Now, I'm not going to talk about the scene fully until later in the video, but we find out here that Joker seems to be chasing a legacy. Scarecrow's toxin showing us that his greatest fear is being forgotten. Although it's nothing new, it's still an interesting motive, and if you play the games again with this in mind, it kind of changes the context in which you see Joker. As a failing stand-up comic, he probably wanted to be seen. He wanted attention. All stand-up comics do. Just look at me, for example. Okay, Joker, I've been there, guy. I get you. And I think that aspect of the character is one of the main things that carries over from who he was into what he becomes. He's scared of being forgotten, and along the way, he decided the best way to do that was to not kill people, but to become this legendary nemesis of Batman. If he wanted to just kill people, he wouldn't be as theatrical as he is. But since he knows Batman will never kill him, I think he's content playing this game for the rest of his life. Batman is like the legendary figure in Gotham, and if Joker can hold his attention, challenge him, sometimes win against him, but mainly lose to Batman, that gives him the spotlight and the legacy he's always wanted. It's like walking up to the biggest, most popular dude at your school and punching him in the face. You just want to be associated. I think it gives more context to that line at the end of Arkham Knight, how he needs him. In some ways, I think it makes this Joker one of the more human ones we've seen, by far more human than that of Mark Hamill's other performance in the animated series. If you haven't played through these games, again, this is me giving you permission to. Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, seriously. After this video, go ahead, go play them again. Do that with Joker's motive in mind, and I think it will only enhance your experience. And they're just amazing games, so that's reason enough.
So, you want to play hardball bats, do you? Your call. Pickle. No!
In the Arkham games, Joker is just as scary, hilarious, and chaotic as ever. Mark Hamill once again returns to voice the character, and call me crazy, I think he might actually be better in the games than he is the animated series. You're thinking that doesn't make sense at all, huh? What? I say he's better because I think he just has more experience with the role. He understands Joker and the voice better, and I think this is some of the best work he's ever done. His roles in the game only expand with each entry, and because of the performance and writing, every second is valuable. In Arkham Knight, there are a ton of optional Joker dialogue moments, and I wanted all of them. I was out there like Ash Ketchum, walking up to dumpsters. Oh, let's see if Joker's gonna say anything about this dumpster. In Arkham Asylum, it's more of a traditional Joker role, and I'll admit, there's nothing particularly special about this one. Even though Joker's great, it's not like he shines so much brighter in this game than every other villain. Arkham City though? Shit. Not only does this guy up the ante in almost every way, but it's a far more unique Joker story and motive. In this game, he's poisoned from the venom he took in Arkham Asylum and is chasing a cure throughout the game. That way he doesn't die of the same poison he also injects Batman with. This Joker is still everything we know him to be, but he's desperate, he's running out of time. Performance-wise, it's the most different for Mark Hamill, playing the role in a way that feels more sickly, uncaged, and in general, I just love this one. Arkham Knight? ×2. So spoilers, but Joker is actually dead in Arkham Knight, but since his blood was still in Batman from the last game, he's slowly taking over Bruce's mind, making hallucinations of the clown pop up throughout the entire game, and I love these interactions. This Joker is different because he doesn't inherently want anything aside from just waiting out this transformation, so he just sits back, torments Batman, and gives commentary like the craziest backseat gamer you've ever had. I know he's like making fun of Batman for dark things, okay, but for us, the audience, me at least, it's pure entertainment, and he makes this game so much better. Personality-wise, he's just as ruthless, not giving a flying F about anyone. Another thing though is the dude is actually crazy smart. I think this and Heath Ledger's might be the two smartest versions of the character we've ever seen. The schemes he pulls off are so intricate, but yet somehow he seems to always pull them off. Only for Batman to just ultimately get the best of him anyways. Also, I want to give some love to Troy Baker's version in Arkham Origins. This game is kind of like the black sheep of the franchise, and it's easily the weakest installment, but Joker himself is great. And for a younger Joker, I don't think Troy Baker's performance gets talked about enough for how good it is.
Nobody serenades you but me, Bats. Take it away, boys. Take me on home to the Asylum.
One of the cool things about these games is that every villain gets a time to shine, except for like you, Riddler, and your trophies. Those suck. The Joker is of course the standout, and he always will be, almost to a fault. When Arkham Origins came out, I was hyped to finally have a game where Joker wasn't the main villain. Never mind, there he is. I don't blame them since the guy's probably a ton of fun to write for, and at the end of the day, it's not like it gets old, so I'm not really gonna complain about it, even though I just did. I love the Christmas atmosphere of this game too, and how it plays into Batman and Gotham extremely well. I'm always down for holiday Batman, except for like Labor Day Batman or Tax Day Batman. That's probably kind of boring. The only game I'd say he might get outshined in is Asylum, because this game's the one that there's not like that one scene that really stays with you the way Scarecrow sections do, but he's still a great villain, a great source of torment for Batman, and while the final boss itself is a little disappointing, the design of Venom Joker is pretty cool. Actually, I lied. I think Bane outshines him in Arkham Origins too. In Arkham City though, he has a lot more standout scenes, his introduction and the finale being two of my favorites. The intro is a great way to kick this game off, serving as the intro to Joker and his latest scheme, but also this mystery around him and his health. I really like that aspect of Joker in this game. The ambiguity of him being sick one moment and then healthy the next, it really puts more of a mystery spin on the story, and it's what stands out to me most about this game looking back at it. Also, the finale is incredible, from the fake out of him being healthy to Batman putting everything together and Talia's ultimate death. The reveal that one, Joker is in as bad a shape as he is, and two, Clayface has been impersonating him the whole time, are two awesome twists that don't serve necessarily to shock people, but to just tie this whole story together. I'm always saying that good villains have an impact on our characters, and Talia's death is the first of many examples of that. You can tell throughout this game, her and Batman actually like kinda have something going on, right? Only for Joker to take her out in the most nonchalant way. That's a great reminder of how little he cares about these people. The ending of the game is actually pretty interesting, because in his final moments, Joker dies laughing at the idea Batman was actually gonna save him. A moment that I think can be interpreted in a few different ways. Maybe he laughs because he thinks it's funny Batman would save him after all that killing. Or maybe he laughs because he realizes his own actions were the ones that got him killed. Yeah, the whole injecting himself with Titan was his actions too, but like, you get what I mean. In Arkham Knight, I got so hyped when Joker showed up. I know I'm confusing because I said I didn't want that in Arkham Origins, but in this game I was hyped. And like, let's be honest, he's the best part of this game. Again, it's a unique side of Joker we haven't seen. A figment of Batman's mind that's slowly taking over him, turning Batman into Joker. Just don't ask about the science of it, okay? Like, yeah, how the blood's turning him into another person. Stop. It makes this game so much more entertaining, as Batman actually has someone he's with throughout the entire game. Everything Batman does, Joker's there giving his take, even if it has nothing to do with him. One scene that's not super Joker heavy, but I still like, is when Scarecrow uses that fear toxin to make Barbara shoot herself. It's just eerie, the whole thing, and Joker's involvement is hauntingly memorable. Even though it kind of gave everyone big hints of who the Arkham Knight was, I liked seeing those Jason Todd scenes via flashback, just because the writing is great, and of course Mark Hamill slaughters this performance like how Joker slaughters this solo. One of the best Batman scenes of all time. It's fan service, it's hilarious, and a great moment for the final game in this trilogy. The ending though is awesome, how Joker fully takes over Batman's body, and for a brief second we see what that would actually look like. A world where Joker's mind occupies Batman's body and all hell breaks loose. Again though, this Joker always gets in his own way. He has Bruce's body, but his attitude towards Scarecrow gets him injected with more fear toxin, exposing Joker's own fears about being forgotten, the same ones that end up defeating him. Whenever Joker is on screen, it's absolutely amazing. Every game gives you a new aspect of the character to enjoy, and I like that for each game in this franchise, yeah, Joker's the main villain, but what he's trying to accomplish, as well as the tone of this character, is different. It helps with the Joker fatigue, and maybe that's why I felt it a little more in Arkham Origins, because that game is where Joker feels the most, like, familiar.
Let's just say, at times like these, it's important to keep up appearances.
The Arkham version of the Joker isn't just an extension of Mark Hamill's performance in the animated series. Instead, this one is just as different as any other version and deserves to be celebrated in the same right. For a certain demographic of people like me who watched the animated series and The Dark Knight, but didn't really appreciate it fully until a few years later, this version is one of the ones that left the biggest impression on me. Each game gives something new for the character, and in my opinion, he just gets better with every passing game. I'm not going to hold it against him since he's a pre-established character. It's hard to argue that this guy isn't one of the best video game villains of all time. I can't believe I'm doing this 2 weeks in a row, but Joker, of course, gets a 10 out of 10.
Who is the big bad bat? His name. Tell me.
Of course, sir. It's...
Never could stand a tattletale.
Thank you so much for watching. I make a new villain review every single Monday. Subscribe. You don't want to miss any of them.